You went back and looked at the film. Was it as bad as you saw live, or what did you notice?
No, I mean, a lot of credit goes to Utah State, the tough shots they made. Now, when a team's that hot, you can't also give them some easier ones. You take, even 3 or 4 of those away and they shoot 60 or 50 and you win. So to withstand a team that's hot, you got to not give them any easy ones. And, you gave them, to start the game, you gave them easy looks at the bucket and then, a few here and there. And then the numbers are okay that you can get it done. And we're still in the position to get it done and just needed one more stop. But I was really pleased at, when I watched the film, I was really pleased at so many things. The way we took our scouting report, the way we took our scouting report on offense, because you got to have a good plan. You can't just run your normal stuff and thinking it's going to work and hoping it's going to work. You got to give them a good plan. And in that building, the communication's down. There's a lot going against you. Now, first half we had too many shot clock violations where we were just unaware. And that was on, and that was off a dead ball once where, everyone should know. You look at the clock, we're calling the play, so it's short and quick. You can't get the ball and not know it, and not shoot it. You got to know that this is, hey, I'm going to look at a better option. There's no time for a better option. You got to know that. And so that's where the guys on the court have to communicate with each other a little bit better. But it's everybody's responsibility to know the shot clock. That's a player knows it. And so those are just little mistakes that you make that you can't make in such a close game. But when I looked at the film, I was like, hey, we battled and we did some tough things. And it was a highly, that was a high level game. Maybe the highest level game where both teams were playing really good that we've seen all year. And so kudos to them. And Martinez he made some tough ones. Not just that, the last one was amazing. When have you seen a ball from 3 do that, hit every part of the rim 4 times where everybody's just standing there watching it and then it drops in. It was almost surreal. But yeah, there's some things we could have done better, and that we will look at, and everybody takes ownership in it, and we don't point fingers. And hey, there's things I could have done better. There's things players could have done. We all can, and that's the encouraging thing about this team is we're in the middle of January and we're still figuring a lot of stuff out because the amount of young guys that are playing, so they're going to keep getting better, and then just the combinations, we got to keep figuring that out.
You mentioned Martinez's last shot, and there was a couple, maybe not quite to that degree, where it was ball luck involved. When that's happening, just how much does that kind of compound the defensive lapses?
Yeah, it completely does. And hey, we made some tough ones too. Both teams were making tough shots. They made some tough ones at the end. There's one play when the ball hits somewhere in the back, basically, and it looks like it's going to be a turnover, and ends up being 3 points for them. Just those one little play here and there can change a game. And so that's why you just keep plugging away, and the teams that can do that are going to be there in the end. And I like the guys that we have, our ability to do that. Now, got a big challenge and a quick turnaround. You fly home, you don't have much time to lick your wounds. You got to get back up on it and figure it out and get your energy right, and because instead of looking back, it's Secretariat with the blinders on, and we're looking for the finish line.
What's the defensive focus going to be like today?
Yeah, you're just getting better, and how can we as coaches help them get better? And every team's different too. We've had a great defensive system, but you got to adjust your personnel too, and that's what we're still in the process of that as the personnel has changed now.
You mentioned after the game you've won championships because of your defense and stuff.
Right.
I mean the Ken Pom numbers, it's like the you got to go back. I had to go back 4, 5, 6 years to find where you guys rank. I mean, I know there's still 15 games left to correct that, but is it kind of answered it there? But is it more personnel based, scheme based, effort based? What are you seeing differently?
It's a combination of all of those. Always is. And it's the changing game. Some of the stuff we were doing 3 years ago, every team wasn't doing what we were doing. And the game has changed a little bit while more teams are doing it. So teams are getting more comfortable playing against it. And so, but it's also, you got to adjust to your personnel and figure out what they're best at and how to simplify it so they can just play really hard and not have to think as much. And that's the adjustment of the scheme, maybe. But playing hard is the number one. That's the, you look back at when a couple years ago with Abu and those guys, man, they just played remarkably hard and jaw-droppingly hard. And we've done that. But when you have 3.5 guys doing it, then the one gets found. We have to have 5 guys playing that hard on every possession, and with our depth, that's how we have to approach it.
I was going to say, you won a game by giving up 37 points one time.
Right.
Do you have the buy-in you need defensively?
Oh, yeah. We do. But again, you can't have this freshman made one mistake, that freshman made one mistake, cost you a bucket, that freshman made one mistake, cost you a bucket, that new guy made one. That's 4 buckets, and that's 8 points, 10 points, 11 points. In these where there's no margin for error, you wish you had those back. And they're simple things that we can fix. That part of it's game experience, part of it's just keep working on it in practice. But you don't get many, you don't get hours and hours and hours now of practice without wearing them out. And so that's a fine line too. So film and all that stuff is really important.
You guys made 14 threes, which was a season high, and the percentage was well over 50%. As a team, what do you attribute some of that to? And then maybe particularly Tyson, he was 20% or so in the non-conference. He's almost, 46, 47%?
Yeah. But I said that was coming, and I've said it over and over again, and that's not just being positive. I'm a tragic pessimist. I look at the real world, but I do have, not pessimist, optimist. I know what they can do, but it's not based on where it's not based in reality. I know what those guys can do, but I want them shooting confidently, and that is the truth that I've learned over years of watching it, analyzing the numbers and the analytics and the way guys shoot the ball. Those numbers do correct, and Tyson, that's what you're seeing now, because he's one of the best shooters, not only in this program, in the country, and the numbers haven't added up to that yet, and they're coming.
So you think there's nothing he's doing other than maybe confidence? There's nothing.
It's just right, absolutely, in the way you approach the shot. You just, if you think you're going to hit it in the lake, guess what? You're going to hit it into the lake. So it's let it fly. That's the mentality a shooter has to have.
Do you generally find that when you have something that you think the team can be good at, and maybe it's not necessarily hitting early in the season, it just takes one good game to really open the floodgates for that?
It just depends on what that would be,
Like for 3 points.
Yeah. That certainly helps, but there's a lot that goes into your percentage of 3-point. It's the shots you get. You're not going to shoot a good percentage if you're not getting good shots, and we're getting better at getting good shots. And now the good shooters have to make some tough shots. That's just basketball, When you look at some of the great shooters we've had here, there's been a lot of shots where you're like, ooh, too tough, or like, ooh, why is he shooting that? That's deep. Whack. You got to have that mentality where you take some of those and make them.
So is there anything that you can do to make sure this sorry. Is there anything that you can do to make sure that isn't a one-off? Is there anything, Coach?
Yeah. Make more.
Sure,
just keep making them.
Yeah.
Just keep making them and keep shooting them. The right guys shot the right shots. That's why you made them. And you got more guys that can shoot out there. Putting Peanut in there. He snapped some off in his first 2 games in college. And, the one in transition was like, yeah, there you go. That's a good player. And to be able to snap that off and make it, that's there's a lot going on in that game. And that's what I want, a confident shooter like that.
You talked about still searching. You played 11 guys in the first half. Guy starts, plays 6 minutes, doesn't play again, or whatever. It's just how, I guess, I know it's a good thing because there's still a lot of room for growth, but just how at this point in the season, how much would you rather not be doing this?
Yeah, you'd rather have maybe everything figured out, but you might not have as much room for growth if that's the case. I was talking to a wise coach friend of mine, and we were talking about the same problem. He's like, I'm going through the same thing some. Part of it's the new era of getting 8 new guys, new uniforms, and that kind of thing. And, but the other part of it is the consistency. I think I know what I'm getting out of Tyson. I think I know what I'm getting out of Al every single night. So that's where their minutes are consistent. I reach in my wallet. I want a 20. I pull out a 20. Sometimes I have guys where I reach in my wallet thinking I'm getting a 20, and it's a 5 one night, and it's 100 the next. So just let me know what I'm reaching in for, and then it becomes consistent, and then the subbing pattern becomes a little more consistent.
Real quick, while I've got you, I have to ask about Andrew's haircut.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't even recognize him, but I was a fan of the old. I was a fan of Tyson's, old high school. I like signatures,
Any chance we get something on Wyoming? Just
Yep.
some thoughts, quick
Yep.
turnaround, obviously, and they're going to get Obi back.
Yeah, no, he got hurt at the end of our game, and he's a heck of a player, one of the most dynamic players in our league. And we put, it was the tree falling in the woods that it was Farrah Fawcett dying the same day Michael Jackson did. Nobody noticed that Farrah died. A lot of people loved Farrah. He had her poster, and all that. But we played a heck of a game against Wyoming last time, and we've had to play. They were tough, and they're well-coached team. They know their roles. They're competing, and they almost won without him. Against New Mexico is a great team. So we know that there is no time to feel sorry for ourselves in any way or any of that. It's back to the drawing board and back to we gotta go play our best in this league to get a win.
So there's no football game or anything tomorrow?
I don't think so. I don't think so. So, yeah, that's it. So.